Jared's brother lost his dog unexpectedly, died in his arms. And weirdly, it only gets worse from there.
It gets way worse. My brother Abe loves dogs. He's had a series of dachshunds back to back, and his dachshund Roxy was 11 years old, and I was just over at his house, running around, totally fine. Then all of a sudden started throwing up.
Ooh.
And he was like, "Ooh, this isn't good." Called the vet, said, "Come in right away." Came in, it's like, "Ooh, you got to go to the emergency vet." So he went to the emergency vet and apparently had a heart attack in his arms. And, you know dogs, that will happen. Pets, they do pass away, but very traumatic, experience for my brother. And he was sad and he couldn't believe it. Wasn't like his dog was sick and he could kind of prepare for it.
And you don't also expect, throwing up to equate heart attack, dying in my arms.
Yes.
I mean, you just think, probably ate something weird.
Exactly.
That's what I would think.
And, then the dog has thrown up before in the past, so you don't think anything. But he did act quickly, but to no avail. So a day or two goes by, and he's like, I have to get another dog. I just have to get another dog. And
I've heard that heals. That helps take away the pain a little bit.
And maybe a distraction, too.
Yeah, that too.
And after the previous dachshund had passed away, he waited a couple months and got another dachshund, and he felt so much better. And he loves dogs. And he loves dachshunds in particular. And so my brother Abe did some research. He got he had these pictures of these dogs he was sending to us. Like, this dog's name's Rosie, and it's this beautiful dachshund that's a certain pattern that's like unusual.
It's kind of like long-haired a little bit.
Yeah.
A very cute dog.
I showed Katie and Jason off the air, and had videos of the dog, had a website. My brother signed a contract.
Dang.
And he was very official. And the one thing was, it was in a different state, and so there was a carrier that would bring it to here for a fee. So he paid for the dog, which was like $500, which he thought was a really good price. And then the fee to get it delivered was $250. And I even looked up online, like carriers. You can do a courier or carrier. They can drive it to your house, or they can fly it to your house.
What a gig.
Yeah. I mean,
my dog will be arriving via plane.
They fly, like on a cargo type plane? Or is it
that type of thing. Not like a private plane, but like a cargo type. So they have those services, and they have the pricing for most of them. My brother had a tracking number that you clicked, and it worked, and it showed it was in Philadelphia, and it was going to be here on this date. It was going to arrive at PTI at 7 p.m.
Oh, my gosh.
And so he's like, I'm getting the dog at 7 p.m. We're all excited for my brother. No one thought anything of it. He sent them their $750.
So wait a minute. So when you say tracking number, it actually shows it en route?
Yes.
Dog.
He clicked the link, and it says, arrived at this facility or whatever. And it shows when it's going to arrive and everything. It's a working link
for the dog.
He paid the $755. 7 o'clock comes around, no Rosie. 8 o'clock comes around, no Rosie. Calls the people, disconnected phone number.
No.
My brother was 100% scammed. No dog.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's awful.
God.
These
the
people
worst.
are going straight to hell.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
So when you say no Rosie, how did he know there was no Rosie? The dog didn't show up because the tracking stopped, or he was waiting at the airport and the plane didn't show up?
Well, at first, it was the plane didn't show up, but then he called, disconnected phone number. He started emailing, and these people were very responsive. They had some long contract. They had a backstory. They lived on hundreds of
pictures and
videos, which we now found out were just stock videos and pictures from Google. If you use Google, you can Google this dog, and it's there.
And there's Rosie.
No.
And there's Rosie. You're like, oh my gosh. And the funny thing is, my brother.
Oh my gosh.
I can't say where he works, but he's a higher up at a certain company. He deals with fraud all day long. He tells people all day, you got to double check things. Don't ever transfer money unless it's with your credit card, because then you can, if there's a fraud alert, they can give you the money back. He sent it through Zelle, and apparently when he called their fraud department at his bank, they're like, sorry, nothing you can do about it.
It was legit.
Not,
it's still shocking to me. Like,
wow.
You can't do anything about it.
I think if I use my Bank of America card and it's a fraudulent charge, and I've had that before. There was some kind of weird charge on my Facebook that came off my bank account, and I'm like, what's this? And they immediately reversed it.
But this is through Zelle.
It was through Zelle.
Through the payment company.
It's almost like Venmo. Where it goes through immediately. Yeah, I think even on Zelle it says, are you sure you want to send this money?
And I think people like Zelle because it does tie directly to your bank as opposed to Venmo. My brother-in-law only uses Zelle for that reason.
That's scary too. I have Zelle too. And usually I think like Truist and that's what they're called now.
That's the bank. My brother,
and Bank of America used Zelle. But like, for instance, if you accidentally type in the wrong phone number or the wrong person.
Or the wrong amount.
Let's say, the wrong amount. Let's say it was 1 digit off. It goes. And then how do you get it back if the person accepts it?
There should be. I don't know how
That's
it works.
why I'm not into Venmo as much anymore. Because you never know. If I had to pay Katie for my share of some kind of lunch, which would probably be $100, then
I'd expect
she could
50-50.
accept it. And how am I going to get it back?
You don't. Unless you know her personally and try to get it back.
Yeah, I don't know.
So my brother tried everything. He called the fraud thing. First of all, he's devastated because he already saw this new dog. The whole family was like, we can't wait. We
It's
had
such a cute
plan. It was a beautiful dog. We can't wait to come over. We feel better because he was so depressed about not having his dog dying in his arms. And these horrible people, all things are disconnected, and they would respond immediately to every email. Boom, boom, boom.
So they were in it.
It has some huge backstory. We live on this farm. We're looking back.
It could have been one person.
Yeah, it could have been one person. Looking back, they gave too much info.
Oh, they
It's
went
like,
too
we're
far.
retired military. We own a motel. We also have this farm, and we have all these dogs. It's like way too much information. But there was my brother sent me a 3-page contract that he signed for the dog. I mean, they did check. I mean, for a scam artist, they're pretty good.
It seems.
They had tracking numbers that somehow worked or at least appeared to be working. And so my brother's totally out of the money, doesn't get it back. And even my dad was talking to him about it. My dad doesn't trust anybody. He trusts nobody. The government, if somebody
Nothing.
If the milk carton says it expires tomorrow, well, are you sure it's tomorrow? I mean, he trusts nobody.
And he
He's like,
doesn't go to doctors. And
doctors
know.
they're trying to make their money. I'm not saying he's a conspiracy theorist, but he's very skeptical of a lot of things. And he was like, oh, that's a good idea. And he felt bad about it because he kind of pushed my brother. Yeah, do it. Go ahead. This is a good idea.
But nobody thought this was going to happen.
But it's based on emotion.
How,
'cause
how
he was saying-
much were they asking?
It ended up being, I think, with tax and everything, it was like $800.
And well, that is kind of a lot of money for a dachshund. I thought you mentioned it might be a different kind of breed.
It was a different type that are usually like $1,000 or $2,000. So they even thought it was a good deal. But we're retired. We're just doing this for fun. They had this whole big story.
Meanwhile,
and they had the emails back and forth. And I even emailed them I'm interested in a dachshund. No response.
Nothing?
I mean, it's shut down everything. But apparently, I read 80% of all puppy websites that are for sale are fraudulent.
Oh my gosh.
80%. Wow.
80%.
That's a very large number.
And how old was this dog?
A couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Whatever the amount it had to be for them to be weaned or whatever, so they can
It's
be.
like 12.
Yeah.
Is that 12?
Maybe it's 3
3
months, maybe.
something.
Yeah. And so
I'm just thinking to myself, I think the way to prevent that now in hindsight is one, anytime you buy an animal or a puppy or something, go see it in person, have it in your hands, see the dog, see the parents, see the breeder if you can, if not a pet store. Because there's something like that with pet stores too, where it's almost better to buy it from a breeder so you can see everything that's going on because you don't know where the dog came from. That would probably prevent a lot of possible fraud, right?
Absolutely. And after the fact, my brother's like, I feel like I'm the dumbest person on earth. I'm like, well, you were
Vulnerable.
It was
You're
emotion.
vulnerable.
Very
Yes.
vulnerable.
And you don't think people are so dishonest.
Right.
They're selling fake dogs that don't exist to tons of people. And apparently it's a huge, major scam.
But can't they look at the bank account
That's what I said.
that it went into? Or
That's
what
what
do
I
they
thought.
take
Or
the
do they
money
shut
out
it
and close the
down?
bank account and they keep? But who opened it? You have to have
There's some trace.
Yeah, if somebody that opened the bank account. Let's say, for instance, you transfer the money into the bank account, right? Mm-hmm. They trace. Okay, that's the bank account, and it went in. Who owns that bank account? They have to have the information to open up a bank account, right? Or
Yeah,
no?
but what if it didn't happen in the United States? Then are things different?
Oh, maybe so.
Because if it's not
Does
here,
Zelle transfer into that? I guess
I
so.
don't know.
Oh,
And Western Union, you can scam people with Western Union because that has you can't trust Western Union. Once you cash out at Western Union, because you don't have to have a bank account to use Western Union.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
don't
so
know if
people
you
do that a
sell
lot.
stuff
But
to-
this isn't Western Union. There's
No.
actually a bank account that's associated with somebody that went from his account.
No, all for the past couple of days, I'm like, there has to be a way to trace this. And my brother, they recommended reporting it to the FBI. He's like, they're not going to do anything. Got all this other stuff they got to worry about. But apparently, this is a big scam where my brother got scammed buying a new dog online, and there's no dog. And he sent $800. They shut down the account. They shut down the email. They shut down the phone number. And they did send the address. I looked up the address on Zillow. It's not a farm. It's some shack in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
It's some dilapidated foreclosed home in Pennsylvania.
so that's
They
not
didn't
even
make an address.
Yeah, that doesn't even tie
No.
to the.
Well, they said this is our address. This is
Yeah.
where, and they didn't look it up and all that stuff like they should have.
It
But
makes me sick because you really want to believe people.
I know.
You know that they're not this way, but people are.
We do have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, on the phone. Good morning, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. This is just despicable that these folks did this to your brother. And it's actually, like you said, 80% of online pet sales sites are fraudulent. During the COVID, pet sales went skyrocketing through the roof, and
right.
so did fraud associated with it. And what happens is, just like this, the exact same scenario that happened to your brother, but you need to warn your brother the next step for a lot of these criminals is now they have all of his personal information.
Oh,
Oh.
They next will do identity theft on him.
Oh
oftentimes.
my gosh!
So
did he not
he
cancel the
really
card?
should.
The
He
account?
should check into some kind of a lock on his identity, his credit.
Okay.
You can do that through Equifax or any of those agencies, and it'll notify you if somebody's trying to open lines of credit or credit cards. You can even make it so that you have to have a code to do those things. I personally have that on my identity because it's so common, identity theft, and I would really recommend that for him quickly because that is usually the next thing they do.
Text him
And
now.
oftentimes
Text him.
these people are not even they're not even in the United States. The other thing he ought to do, and I put it on my Instagram and tagged you guys, he should make a report to the FBI, their Internet Crime Complaint Center, and to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, because this is a serious federal crime and it is actually punishable by 20 to 30 years incarceration.
Wow.
It's wire fraud. And then a lot of times, of course, there's the identity theft on top of that. And the FBI and the FTC take it seriously because it is so rampant right now. And so all of these reports, like Abe's, will help because little bits of information that they can trace, and they put it all together after they get lots of these complaints. The FBI arrested a guy just this past December. He was he's a Cameroon native who had been living in Russia, and he's been extradited to the U.S., and he did this thousands of times all over the U.S., and he would do exactly what he's done here, plus identity theft. And he's facing 20 to 30 years in prison. So it's a serious crime.
So you're saying, so you're basically saying that if Jared's brother does report to the FBI,
And he did.
So it might not be this is the solution right here, but because these people typically do it a lot of times, it adds up.
That's good to
It
hear.
adds up to a possible fine.
Right. Exactly. They probably won't be able to get him his money back. It's not like they'll go, bam, we can get you a fix right for this situation. But the big picture, they'll be able to hopefully bring down this whole ring. And there are some things you can do to protect yourself if you're looking to buy a pet and you are insistent on doing it online. Number one, there's a thing called a reverse image search. So when they send you that picture of that dog, copy that picture, put it in Google, and if it pops up to a stock photo house or to a pet food commercial or something like that, you're being scammed. The other thing is don't ever send money through a cash app like this. Because like you said with Zelle, it's like you threw that money out the window. It is not traceable. You cannot get it back. And the other thing is to insist on Zooming with the dog. Like if they're telling you that, insist on a video conference with the dog. And of course they wouldn't be able to do that. And if the price seems a little too good, that's a huge red flag. That's the thing they always do. They always undercut the normal price for the dog because that lures you in. Oh, I'm getting a good deal. And all these add-on costs. One of the big scam things that they're doing a lot of times is they're adding pet insurance that is equal to the price of the doggone pet, usually. I mean, so it's like a $500 dachshund, and here's $500 of pet insurance, too, that is supposedly health insurance for the pet's lifetime, which is completely
It is sad that, sorry, Jason, it is sad that there's people that are out there, they scam a lot of different ways. They scam people with something like a pet, where you really want it and all
you're
this
so
stuff.
emotional. You're in a place where, for your brother, it was going to help him heal in a way.
It really does.
And he's smart. He knows.
He's
he
very
does this
smart.
for a living, but it's...
In retrospect, he's like, I shouldn't have done this based on emotion. He's like, looking back, there's red flags, but I just did it because I never considered someone would be having a scam ring with fake dachshunds and other dogs, apparently. Jason, what were you going to say?
I was just curious, Lisa, when you say the Zelle and the Cash App, which I guess is like Venmo too, and I've used Zelle, it's still coming from somebody's account going to another account. Why isn't there any type of trace on this or a traceable?
Well, that is one thing that I think helps if you report it to the FTC or the FBI. They can do a couple of things. They can track IP addresses related to websites that they were using. It won't give them an exact address, but it'll give them a locale so that they can narrow it down. And I think that it does not give you the person's, because, all you get on Zelle's end is you use their phone number or their email address. So it's a complicated path, but I think they can subpoena ultimately from the bank who that money went to. And it's something that is not easy to do, but the FBI could certainly do it. So there are ways of figuring out, but then you've got a bank account and that's all you've got, and a lot of times it's a shell game of who they really are. But it is something that's worthwhile to report because ultimately complaint after complaint after complaint does lead to a capture of these people eventually. And I want to put a plug in too. Remember that animal shelters are overflowing right now with animals. And I know a lot of people, I mean, I bought my dog from a local breeder. I'm guilty of, we bought our cats from a shelter because I have allergies and I needed a hypoallergenic dog. What I learned later was that you can actually still get a designer type dog from a rescue agency. A lot of times they're even specialized. So if he's still looking, there are dachshund rescue groups that maybe the owner died or something, and he may not get the perfect little puppy, but he might want to look into that too. Much safer, cheaper. A lot of times it's even, just like the shelters are like $75, or sometimes they waive it and it's free.
Yeah, that's a very good point. My brother A was like, I'm just going to wait. I got to wait to get a dog. And then the very next day, he went to Friendly Pets and bought a dachshund.
He skipped the shelter.
He didn't even think about it. He just he Googled something and he was like, I have to see a dachshund in person. Even at Friendly Pets, he was like, I'm not going to buy this today. 10 minutes later, he bought, and now he has the dog is called Ladybug, and it's beautiful, and he has a dog, so it's all come. But
all you have to do is hold it once, and you're like, this will come home with me.
It came home. So it has a happy ending. But I'm glad that Lisa, you brought all this information because this is a major scam.
And can we recap that for a second? So you are suggesting, Lisa, using something like an Equifax to put like passwords and stuff on your
LifeLock. Equifax is just one. Can they?
Yeah.
Can you lock all three?
Any of those credit reporting agencies will sell tools. If you just will Google, how to protect your self from identity fraud, they'll sell. I think they call them like LifeLock is one of them, and they just basically. They have to do it through the credit reporting agencies, and they can do it in a combined effort through all of them. There's a service where they all go together, and that way if anybody attempts to do anything on your credit, whether it is to open a credit card or to open a bank account or get into they will lock it down. So it'll give you an alerts. You can even lock it down where they have to have a code. What I have is like, you go to the department store and they're like, hey, you can save 15% today if you'll open up a credit card with us. I can't even do that even if I wanted to because I have to have a little code. I have to ask this LifeLock thing to send me a code, and I have to enter my secret code in order to be able to open any kind of credit card. But that's a great measure of protection.
Right.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, Lisa, as always, amazing. Thank you so much. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the morning. If you're ever injured on the job, contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com. She does a lot of other stuff too, of course.